Hi everyone, and welcome to English 110, the first week of our course, English Composition. My name is Jennifer Casey. I'm your instructor or your facilitator and guide. Unfortunately, I'm having technical difficulties with my camera on my computer, so I'm not able to show my face right now. There is a picture of me on the content page, and I also shared in the discussions introducing myself and where you are introducing yourselves. I shared a picture of myself and my dogs from last year. But I wanted to come on and welcome you to the class. I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to begin to help you with the writing process. We will be going through that in our course. I also wanted to take you through our course's organization and to point out some important aspects of it, as well as look at this week's assignment. I am a full-time English instructor at the community college where I live in the middle of California. And so this is what I do and what I'm really passionate about, reading and writing. All right, so let's take a look at our class. I'm on the content page, and of course, these are all the pages. I post weekly announcements, at least one every week, but often multiple. So please check here regularly. I've already posted the first announcement, which opened up yesterday, our first day of class. This is where our discussions are that you can go to. The grade book. This is where you can message me if you have a private message, and I messaged everyone on the first day of class. I hope you saw that. But I also wanted to show you that here is a place where you can message questions having to do with the class that others might benefit from. And as a student, if you see a question that you can answer, then please feel free to do so. I'll be checking these as well. This is the overview of information for our class. It's also where you can share about yourself. Many of you have already, and I have, so please go check this out. Some of us are posting photos, and it's a nice way for us to all get to know each other. This is your course guide. It has all kinds of information about this course, but it also has a lot of quick links for resources about the classes, the school, policies, the Center for Writing Excellence, the Center for AI Resources, which is really important, and we'll be talking more about this, and for technology help and other help and support. All right, so that is for everything you need to know about the class and other resources, the textbook. And then let's see, there's the syllabus. This is the overview of each week and the rubrics that are used in this class. And then these are our weekly modules. So every week you need to start here. This is all the information that you need to know for each week. So yes, you can go right to the discussions, but this is where you need to start. So I'm going to drop down. They all follow the same organizational pattern. They all start with an overview that tells you what the readings and assignments are going to be for the week. They all have a folder with the readings and activities, so you can see those here. This one is an interactive video of reading strategies that is also worth points. I believe it's 10 points, so you need to complete this. This is our textbook reading for the week. And then there's additional readings in the library here for each week. So I'll show you this time, and each week there are readings that you can actually click on here as well. There's also some videos. There's also a resource for APA style. Here is another, this is a reading. And then each week you can see other readings and videos. Okay, so I'm going to close this and go back to the course, the week 1 content. And then of course the discussion. Now, it is really important to read these instructions carefully, and I have posted them each week, but I want to make sure that you understand these. I want to make sure you understand that the initial responses are always due on Thursday. Your replies to peers are due by Monday, and you have to post over 2 separate days to get full credit. I don't accept late posts, except for in emergency situations, but you have to message me immediately and get my okay, and then I do allow up to 2 days maximum with a penalty deduction. But if I haven't heard from you at all, unfortunately, late responses cannot earn credit. You also will not see anyone else's posts, right here, sorry, before you post your own, and then you'll see your peers' posts as well. This is AI policy, but I'm going to post something separately in the announcements that goes over this, over the AI policy and procedures. This is about your discussion, response, and replies of what I just talked about, and the minimum and absolute maximum. And there is no reason to go over this, and it's really hard to read discussion posts that are more than this. 200, 300, 400 words are perfectly acceptable. And then the replies, some additional comments, and this is important. Avoiding lists, bullets, and numbers, but using paragraphs. Paragraphs are the basic organizational unit of any academic or professional piece of writing. All right, so I just recommend using a paragraph for each one of your answers to the questions, and there's usually 3 or 4 questions, so 3 or 4 paragraphs. Okay, the discussion starts here. This is a little bit of information about this week's discussion, and here are your 4 discussion questions. So again, 4 bulleted discussion questions, 4 paragraphs. Sometimes you can combine them if possibly they're not so long, but sometimes you might have a lot longer or more to say, I should say a longer paragraph or more to say about one of the bulleted questions, and you might want to break that up. This is guidelines for a substantive reply to your peers, and I actually have a video of this as well that I'm going to be posting, but please read through this carefully. There is also another interactive video about journal writing, which you're going to be doing each week, and then the journal entry. If you would like, there's information here about it and a link about the benefits of journaling, and then the requirements and the different topics. These are some topics you can choose, or you can write about anything you would like. What I'm asking you to do is first select yes, that you have completed it. And then you may submit your entire entry, but if you do not want to submit that entire entry, or you didn't type it, or you don't feel like taking a picture of it and posting it, then you can just write a few sentences about what you wrote without actually sharing the whole entry. And this is just to get you thinking, to get you writing. These are important in becoming a better writer. Okay, so I'm going to leave here, and then I'm going to go to the last folder, and that is the week 1 assignment. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to go into the instructions, and there are some instructions, a little bit of an overview about writing and about feeling nervous about writing. But this has to do with the topic of this week and of our whole course, and that is part of the writing process, understanding the rhetorical situation, which is you as a writer, but more importantly, who your audience is, the context of the situation you're writing in, and the topic you're writing about. And we're going to be talking about that in all of our weeks, but focusing it on week 1 and 2 before you start to go through the next steps of the process in creating your own piece of writing. So to complete this assignment, you're going to download this worksheet and complete it. I'm going to show that to you in just a few seconds. And when you're finished with it, you're going to proofread it and grammar check it, and then you're going to upload it here to this folder. So let's take a look at this worksheet. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is about understanding the messages that we write every day and the way in which who we're writing to and the topic or context of what we're writing about is going to shape the message that we do create. And so for this assignment, you're going to choose 2 scenarios from this list, and you're going to write a brief message. You're going to write a brief message for each of the 2 scenarios. So first, you're going to write your first message here, whichever you chose first, in 5 or 7 sentences. So if you chose to text a friend to cancel plans, you're going to write that here, dear so-and-so, or hey so-and-so, or however you would write it to that friend and send that message of canceling the plans. Of course, you're going to think about, right, who that person is and the context, which is going to shape your message. And then you're going to do it again in the second message. And then you're going to come down here and you are going to respond to the way in which you wrote each of those messages in 200 to 250 words total. So that's about 100 to 125 words each. And that means you're going to explain for your first message, what was the purpose of the message, right? Why were you writing it? What did you want to get out of it? What did you want to do to the other person? Convince them of something, make them happy, entertain them, give them some information, whatever that was. Who was the audience and how did that affect what you said, right? The words you used. What was the context and how did that shape your tone or word choice? Because when we want something from people, we often change our tone to be more polite and conciliatory, and we use a more sweet tone. But when we're demanding something from someone, we may be a little bit more angry, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more straight to the point, right? So you're going to analyze the way in which you wrote your message for 1 and then for 2. And then you have 1 wrap-up question, which is, what did you notice about how you naturally change your writing depending on the situation? So based on your writing and the way you analyzed it, talk about your overall understanding of what you've learned from this based on how you change, how you write, how you communicate. All right? In a few sentences, you can do that. And that is all for the first assignment. And that is all for my first video for you guys. And I hope you're having a really nice day today. And as always, I encourage you to reach out to me if you have questions or need anything clarified or want any help on the discussion or your assignments. All right, everyone, have a good rest of your day. Bye.